Well, a delivery, only one this week. Shedring Hobbies. I did see them at Getz, but everything I'd been looking at on eBay, they hadn't got with them. So we've got the welding figure in there, and a nice little block to protect it. The drivers, which obviously I suppose are lorry drivers, but you could use them for any application, seated persons or train drivers, and just a general sort of fly tipping junk. The settee, a toilet, window frames, that sort of thing. The stuff that sort of gets tossed over railway bridges, or you find in trackside entrances, farm fields. Obviously we might want a few more of these yet, but we'll just see what this one's like for now. Obviously once I get more confident with my printer, or actually use it, would help. There's probably some things like this I can download and print off to my heart's content. So this lot with the postage costs 21 quid, which is not a lot for your money really. I know they've got to make a living, so, but even so, when you look at it nowadays, this is where a lot of the money gets synced into model railway that you don't see initially. It's all the little trackside and platform details and detailing the interiors of buildings and all the little bits, the bins, and all the stuff that brings the model more to life for you, but obviously a lot of it's not seen. If you pan across, a street scene, you don't necessarily see everything. But yeah, we want to try and make it as detailed as possible, hence having a resin printer, because obviously this, 20 quid's worth there could have probably printed off those two. I don't know, I haven't looked, but you get the general idea. You can find stuff on there even if you rescale some of it, but if you're buying 1 or 2 packs like that, it's not too bad. But when you got a whole railway detail, so sinks in a fair old bit. I mean, winter is coming, so you'll have to excuse the low light, grainy video, as outside's a bit grey, and we do have the ring light on, but it can only do so much. So today's only package, I did have an email saying my tree armatures would arrive, but no, 1, 2, 3 blocks instead. What a 1, 2, 3 block, some of you are going to say. They are an engineering block. There are some cheaper variants which don't have the machined holes. They're threaded, so you can bolt 2 together and make a perfect right angle. Can't even get it apart to see. What else would you use an engineering block for? They're quite weighty. I don't know how weighty they are, but you certainly won't want one dropping on your head. But they're ideal for when you are wanting to glue models together and you need just something heavy to hold them in while the glue sets. Probably not so much with this on the roof. It will take the weight, but yeah, if you need to convince something to stay down, as I did with this, because there was a bow in the platform base and I used these little mini clamps. But again, weights can come in useful for convincing something to stay in place till the glue sets. Then how much do you want to pay for them? They're £20, £25. You can get them in fancy plastic cases with screws and Allen keys, and or just plain old cardboard. At the minute, the cheapest I found them for was £13.29. which is as good as they're going to get, I think. They did go up again, a bit like the Chinese diesel heaters last year. Everyone was trying to use one of them to save money heating their house, and they were doubled in price. Which will bring me to the next snippet. Well, not quite the snippet I intended, or depending on how I jiggle the editing. But this bit's not railway related, but they did combine the postage because I ordered 2 items from 2 sellers. But it's come very quick. I mean, as I'm recording, it's now the 27th, and I ordered these the night of October the 19th. So obviously they wouldn't have processed them until the 20th. So 7 days shipped from the other side of the world. Again, I bought another 2 pairs of the honey coloured wire wound sand covered tree armatures. Let's get one out and have a look. Again, obviously they need fluffing and plumping out before you use them. But you get 4, and they were, well, call it £9 for 4. So I mean, the time I mess around with a bunch of wire making my own, these are, you know, just over a couple of quid each. All I'm going to do to them is probably use Mod Podge or Liquitex or whatever it is, just to seal them up and repaint them a more appropriate bark colour. And I'll sort of shape them as I desire and put some static grass on them or some flock, whatever. But yeah, I'm quite tempted, while they're knocked down in price, I might get some more actually, and a couple of the larger ones, the big ones, to have as a sort of like large old feature trees in a park or something. Well, if you were wondering what that was for, wonder no more. So, what are your other hobbies? This is my other hobby. Building this has become a hobby in its own right, but its actual creation is to turn water and grain into beer. Water there, grain in there. You put the water from that one, warm water in there, wait an hour or so for the science to do its magic, and then you place it in this one and boil it. And then you put it in that one, put some yeast with it, and a week or so you've got a beverage. And if you haven't got a very good beverage, you can put it in there and make a slightly stronger beverage. But that isn't why I brought you in the brewery. As you can see, there is no railway layout in here at the minute. There's a pile of rubbish on the floor for all of the fittings. I have purchased, now that the silly prices have gone down, another Ching Wing Wong heater. This is what I am going to heat the railway shed with. Another CDH, as they're commonly referred to, a Chinese diesel heater. Looks like I've got to put it back together again, but get an exhaust, fuel pipe, air intake filter, about £80, £70-80. They've gone back down again from the ludicrous amount of money they were last year when everyone was buying them to put their houses and heat their homes. So there's a little LCD panel, should be a remote in there somewhere. So it's basically the same as this one, which is still on, which means I've left the transformer on. You get a 12 volt DC, and that's your heater. That's the fuel source. I'll just rig this one up temporarily. It's still temporary from last year. Air goes out there and goes in here, and obviously it heats this room. Oh, turn that off. So yeah, it heats the room this size, so the intended shed is probably going to be twice the length of this, 2.5 times the length of this room. So it'll have its work cut out, but they are 5 kilowatt, and obviously you can run them for an hour prior to going in the room, so it'll be warm. And it will bring this, what we at, 11 degrees. It was that yesterday or so. Within about an hour you can be up to 18, 19 degrees. So you'll creep up to 20, you can turn it back down. They're quite economical to use. They're designed to run on diesel, but you can run them equally as well on kerosene, which is what I'll be using. And just have a 20 litre army style jerry can. And a separate little compartment on the outside of the shed with a couple of ducts going in to heat the shed. Keep it nice and warm and toasty in the winter for me. And in the summer I've got a portable air conditioning unit which will hook up to the vent system that the airbrush cabinet will be on. So if it gets too warm in the summer, I can cool the room down as well. So there won't be the problems that the loft dwellers have with too hot or too cold during parts of the year. Well, it's a mailbag Monday today. It's just arrived. A little Hornby bargain. Well, reasonably priced. Maybe not my kind of bargain category, but we've got another Georgian house, as that was part and parcel of the package. The old plastic kit village post office, and another restaurant, or I think it's another restaurant. I think I already got one of these, but I'm not sure. Pretty sure I have though. They were a good price off eBay. Buy it now. Considering he was asking $12.99 for the Victorian cottage, these at 20 quid were a bit of a steal. Well, it's Mailbag Wednesday by now. I did have a little road trip out the other day and picked up a couple of pots of paint for future projects. That's supposed to be smoke. From Hobbycraft in the UK, and I picked up this crafting concrete paste. It's a sizable tub, as you can see. It's 6 quid. I was a little bit went bloody round the shop twice to try and find it, because they've got paints and stuff in 4 or 5 different bloody places. Stupid. But yeah, we'll give that a try when the time comes. It certainly works out cheaper than buying the textured paste in tubes and then colouring it. Obviously it needs a different grade of that. That's not very concrete colour to me. It's a bit too rich and dark. But never mind. Let's see what we got in the old Egg Foo Young packs. Well, there we have it. More motors. These ones with the counterweights on them. Very similar looking ones without weights on them. Very similar format. Front is slightly different, and the termination point is no lugs on these. They are sort of stockish motors that are in various locomotives that are similar, all the same as, but you might have to take the worm gears and weights off. I think these are the ones that might be the same as the guy. He takes that off and puts a worm on and then sells them as an XO4 replacement for 30 quid. And this one here, which I think is possibly might be a bit small for a backman, I'm not sure, but might fit one of me HO models if not. But again, they're so cheap they're worth chucking in the spares box. They're only like well, some of them are only £5 for the lot, or £5 each, less than £5 each of VAT and shipping, But that was the dearest one, £5.94 plus the shipping and VAT came to £9.86, which is a 20 to £30 charge. I know some are 16, but even so, cheaper. And the other ones, let's have a look here. The ones with the weights cost £9.68 and the ones without the weights cost £5.77 for the pair, and the shipping and the VAT. And the other ones you saw in the last one were the 5 full skew wound. But yeah, they're just spares, and this is not railway related. This is a camber gauge for putting on your wheel, so you get your angle of your wheel correct, because I changed the lower arm on my van some time ago before we went to Milton Keynes. Had to put new tyres on because the outer tread was cut out, so I just need to make sure that the new one I put on, well, I marked it off, it's cheaper than paying the 30 or 40 quid to have them done at a shop when that cost 8 quid. Just got to get wet because it's not very conducive vehicle maintenance weather at the minute. I'm looking for another car that I hopefully can get before Christmas, because I've got to take the van off the road. MOT runs out in January, February I think, and there's some sheet metal fabrication work to be done, shall we say, in addition with a few other minor bolt-on bits, but I don't want to be doing that in the winter, so I want to get that done as a spring summer project along with everything else that will be stacking up, and hopefully still making time to clear the site ready for the railway build.